Hello, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, and in this video, I will be going over, in a stepwise manner, how to not only create a digital dashboard, but how to deploy this as a web-based app. So let's get started here. So if we look at this, so this is in ArcGIS. This is a web-based application. And so again, in this dashboard, if you look at the left-hand side, and I've explained this in previous videos, but I'm going to briefly reorient you to this display so that you can see how to do everything in your workspace. So once you understand and get used to all of this, then you can literally create maps within minutes. So let me show you how to do this. If you look on the expand side, you see all of these menu options. And this actually anybody can have access to once they create an account, a free account with ArcGIS. So all of these menu options become available. Additionally, there's a 21-day free trial period where you can have access to additional features. And you can have layers here, and this is what you'll be mainly working on. And this is, by the way, from the county health rankings. And so this has been generated already. And what this is mapping specifically is income inequality between the 80th percentile and the 20th percentile. So the higher that ratio, the bluer the county is within this geographical distribution. So that's the rule of thumb. So if you're looking at the map to make sense of what all the colors are and what everything means, you were probably wondering this since the beginning of the video. Now you know here what everything represents. So if you look at a lot of the southern states, this income inequality is much more vast and much more pronounced than other areas. Also looking in the Appalachian region, this holds to be true. And also if you look in Pennsylvania, there's areas, pockets where there's greater disparities over near the city regions of Pennsylvania. So now looking into kind of what we can do out of this map and how much more information we can get out of this. Let me show you now. So I would recommend you first save this. So save it as something that you would be descriptive sort of title. So so you can call it income inequality map, and just save map. And so that, what it does, it actually opens up additional options. And so then what you can do is you can share the map, which I'm gonna actually show you in this feature. And this is a quick sort of switching. So share map and then set sharing level and make that everyone. So now what that does is when you select save here, this link there basically on your web browser, and you can't see my URL, but this website link will be the link that you can actually share with your colleagues, and anybody actually can access this. So that's the great feature. Now the next feature is how to create a web-based app. And so there's only two options, so very simple. Select Instant Apps. And then what's great about this is that there's going to be multiple templates. And there's going to be this one where you can create a portfolio. That's one that's good to explore. But the one that is interesting for our purposes is Chart Viewer. So you can look at a sample. And this was the COVID-19 dashboard, and very critical during the pandemic. Was used very frequently. Was the Johns Hopkins dashboard, which I've presented in quite a few places. But here, what's telling is the fact that there's different types of maps. The features here is interesting. So you can look at not only the distribution within the nation, but you can take a look at these clickable sort of placards that pop up about the rates and everything. Mortality, last case found 1 days ago, or 1 day ago. So this is all updated, and so the feature is such that this will keep updating. And so this is total cases. And then if you look at distribution of total cases, you can see this as well. So pretty neat feature. You have three kind of panel areas, and then a interactive clickable pop-up feature. Very quick to make, but simple. So you can choose. So let's go back here. So that's the sample. You can actually choose this, and then create app. So you can select create app, but I'm actually not ready to go there yet. So let's take a look at the actual map itself, and look at charts. So if you create the chart here, then once you create charts, then you can actually have a map. So the next step naturally may follow in your mind, that you have to go into charts and create a chart, but in reality, what you'll need to do is go to the right, go into styles, and then go down further and basically configure charts here. And I'm going to move my face for a second, and then select add chart, and there's quite a few helpful sorts of visualization, but I recommend that you use the histogram. And so the first thing you want to do is designate the data, which variable it is. So since we have mapped out predominance analysis on suicide, then maybe some sort of indicator in terms of maybe income inequality, or something else that might be interesting and revealing all the same. So you can kind of go through this list and take a look at what might be interesting. So looking at maybe firearm, something to do with maybe firearm fatalities. So you can, I'm also showing you some interesting variables that you can be thinking about relating to the county health rankings. So as you're going through this, be thinking about what are some interesting variables. So maybe we can look at HIV prevalence, or something like even percent of population who lack adequate access to food. That might be a cause for mental health distress. So let's select that. And so here is the distribution within the United States. And so you can create and generate several figures like this. And it can take a little bit of time to try to see what might make sense. Or you could just generate a dashboard that looks very similar to this as well. So then once you have generated this, you can go back here and then add another chart. You can go ahead and add another chart. And so if you're interested in finding out something else, then you can easily do that. You can even generate a line chart. A lot of times it's good for looking at trends and other types of information. So I'm just going to generate, for the sake of simplicity, another histogram. So another one that we can look at is premature death. So maybe there's higher premature death in certain areas, and this can lead to the spatial patterns and everything that you see. So let's take a look at the distribution of premature death. As you can see, it's a bit skewed. And so you can see that there's counties, this is actually telling because you see that there's counties with lower premature death, and then there's a peak, and then there's counties where there's actually extremely high amounts of premature death. So what is, I think, helpful in this situation is if we did a little transformation. And so if we did a logarithmic transformation, then let's take a look at if this changes anything. So and this is common practice in statistics, to look at some sort of variable in a transform manner. So once we can conduct this transformation, as we see, there's a little bit more normal distribution, but again, there are these higher extreme sort of rates which are disconcerting in counties, in poorer counties. So this is something that relationally, when we look in terms of the map together, can provide some more information. So let's save this one as well. we can add another chart, and again, this is how you would interpret any sort of information that's in here. So we can, there's a lot of premature death categories, and then you can similarly take a look at percent unemployment and the distribution in the counties, and how they're doing here. And again, this is a lot of recent unemployment data, which shows that there's a lot of counties which are kind of in this upper end of unemployment. So there's a lot of widely distributed sort of rates of unemployment throughout the United States. So looking at, again, it's always good practice to conduct a transformation and try the logarithmic, and it does improve this a little bit, but still you have this kind of skewness going on where on the upper end there's at as high as 2.55 to 2.65% logarithmic unemployment. So that's corresponding to an actual rate in the 13s. So again, 13.5. So again, there's quite a bit of distribution. Let's keep this untransformed. So now that we've generated 3 tables here, 3 charts here, now we're ready to actually go back and generate the dashboard. So let's go back to this creating app. Instant apps. Well, I had shown you this once before for introduction purposes. Now we can actually proceed with this. And so it's saying there's another one that's present, so let's, just for the sake of the video, name it 2, and then allow this to create the dashboard on its own. Let's take a look here. We just had to change the map there. And so the final part of this is putting it all together, and having a 5-step sort of process where you can create a dashboard. And so you select the map, and the map has been selected, then you hit next. And you have the option of doing stack or side by side. So if you want to do stack, which I recommend doing, you have this nice sort of accordion type menu on the right, which you can collapse if you so choose, or you can go down the list and take a look at how this happens. You have the distribution of percent of population who lack adequate access to food. distribution of premature death, and then taking a look at the distribution of percent unemployment. So these are all, this is evidence of disparities, which need to be looked at within a map and within the context of a map. And then, so then you have a map with the information here. So in the combination of this dashboard, you can really get some good knowledge about social disparities, social determinants of health, from the taking the big picture. So the next step here is selecting share. So you can copy the link and change share settings from owner to everyone. And so this is now shared. So here's the link. So now it's getting updated, and it's actually being deployed as we speak. So now the app is published. So now accessing this link, anybody can view this. So there you have it. And if you want to look at the current location, well, that's my current location. Any current location can be placed within there, and you can take a look at what is going on in that location, which is a neat search interaction within the dashboard. I'm going to zoom out here. So again, these dashboards are expandable. And once you zoom in, the colors appear as well. So now you have a complete picture of what a application, a web-based application, and a digital dashboard looks like in public health. This is a very important feature that I encourage each and every one of you to make use of. Thank you for listening.